High value men don't exist, okay?
Let's talk about the sexual side of a high valued man.
Some high value men don't provide good sex. But there are some times where a man's penis is his currency.
Once a woman decides to have intercourse with a man, the man now is in control.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Honestly Kendra G podcast. Y'all understand, I am so excited that I finally launched my podcast. I have been talking about this for a minute, and I made it a point to do it this year. And what I learned is I have a studio in my place, like full transparency, but it's a closet. And it's been a closet, and I didn't realize I had that many clothes. So I literally been selling clothes to try to have the podcast studio set up. We are not done. Like, it's still like a closet. Shout out to my cousin, Elena, who is my assistant, who had been telling me since last year I had a clothing problem. And now I'm well aware of it because I can't even create my studio. We have turned my living room into my podcast studio in the meantime. But today we're talking about high value men don't exist, okay? I want to get into this. I'm really excited to deep dive. I want to bring, you will not see his face. Maybe one day you'll see his face. But my co-executive producer, Alejandro, because I was talking to him about this. And Alejandro, you told me you're a high value man.
No, I said I'm the price.
Oh, you said you're the prize. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, well, we'll stay there for a second. What makes you the prize as a man?
What I bring to the table.
What do you bring to the table?
I can cook. I make people's life easier. I'm a very nice guy. And I'm also not bad to look at. I'm tall.
So this makes you a prize?
I just feel that any woman that comes into my life, I make their life better.
So why wouldn't the woman be the prize as in she comes into your life?
Because sometimes they create more problems than solutions.
What I love about this dialogue, and we'll start off here before we get into the high value, I guess, the prize notion is your thought process is very normal for a lot of men. Like, a lot of men feel as though if they're attractive, they have a certain height, and women take responsibility. We did this because we said you have to be 6 feet. You have to be attractive. You have to make a certain amount of money. What we did not realize is all the men that fit into that category are like, some of them already knew it, but there were some who didn't know. And they're like, wait a minute, I'm over 6 feet. Wait a minute, I do pretty well. Oh, I'm the prize. And I will say this, who's ever being chased is the prize. I stand on the woman is the prize. But if the woman is chasing the man, then yes, in that dynamic, the man is the prize. And ladies, that is just on you. So as Alejandro just said, and I will attest, and maybe one day I will let y'all see him. He's an attractive guy. He's very kind. We work extremely well together. I could be difficult to work with, but he gets me. He's responsible. You have no kids either, right?
Nope.
He's a hard worker. You have a lot of qualities, but I'm still going to say you're never the prize. The woman is always the prize.
I've been chased a lot.
You've been chased a lot.
Not a lot, but a decent amount.
The women that chased you, did you want them?
Sort of.
So what happened? Because you're single.
Well, the last long relationship I had, she chased me.
Yes.
But I showed a little interest, but then once, things happened, then she just, made sure.
Did you like being chased?
I like being chased.
Tell me, and what did they do to chase you?
Let's say I'm in the room and late at night, they be knocking on the door.
Wait a minute. I'm kind of confused. If you're late at night knocking on the door, you guys
I was doing something else, and they thought I was alone, and they knocked on my door.
Okay, you got to give the full story now because, I got to understand. So you were with a woman and another woman came to your house?
Apartment. I was in college at the time.
Okay, this is going to be a deep dive with Alejandro. But let me just kind of say focus. And I do want to just, since we're here, this prize notion. There are times, like I said, if you are chasing a man, yes, he is the prize. But I stand on, you will never be treated the way you want to be treated if you chase the guy. Because you have to then sign up to be the driver in the relationship and for the majority of the relationship. And you got to be okay with that. Now, if you're okay with that, you know what I say, you like it, I love it, but also understand what comes along with that. Now, don't misconstrue chase with showing interest and making yourself available. And so there are two different things, okay? You can definitely let a man know that you're interested, right? You can make him aware, tell a friend to tell him. You can tell him yourself. I believe you stop there. I believe you got to stop there if you want to get the best out of him. Because what's happening is women are doing so much work that a lot of men don't pursue women anymore because they don't have to. Because like Alejandro just said, and a lot of men have said, they've been chased. And since they're being chased, now they're going to choose out of the women that are chasing them. So you might be one of 10 girls that have expressed your interest, but if he feels like he's the prize, he is going to allow the woman who gives him the most attention to really get his attention. And this is where the game messed up. And ladies, we messed the game up. We messed the game up here when we took away a lot of standards. We took away standards of sex. Okay. Men no longer have to work for sex because you can get it without even being in a relationship. We took away standards for motherhood. Men can get you pregnant and not be married to you. And we took away the standard of knowing he has someone else and still dealing with him. So men now have learned that, I could say what I want to say, do what I want to do, and she's not going to go anywhere. And that is a woman's nightmare. You never want a man to feel like no matter what, he can't lose you. No matter what he does, he cannot lose you. I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you are in a committed relationship and you are not ready to leave and you've learned that your man is doing some things to you, don't let him know you know. I would encourage you to play dumb and he has no clue that you know what he's doing, opposed to him knowing that you know he's doing stuff and you're not mad about it and you're not going to go anywhere, because disrespect never gets better. And it could start off small, but it always grows. But once you tolerate disrespect, baby girl, get ready for more. So I would prefer you to just get your ducks in a row and decide if this is something you can do. Now, am I saying your man's cheating and you don't confront him? I'm not saying that. I'm saying confront him, but be able to walk the walk if you're put in that position, because he might call you on your bluff. That's what I'm saying. Be willing to leave if that's what you say. So your man cheats, you bring it up to him and you go crazy. Y'all have this argument and you're like, if you do it again, I'm out. And he's like, okay, I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to do it again. And then he does it again. And if you don't stand by what you say, then you have now taught him your words do not match your actions. And this, again, is something for you to decide. So if you're going to play this game, and I hate to say play this game, listen, in the perfect world, you will be strong enough to remove yourself from a person that's cheating you. But we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a real world, okay? And I've had friends who I knew was not going to lead a man. I knew they wasn't, because they've been with him through a lot of shit and they tolerated a lot of shit. And I'll never forget when one of my girlfriends hit me up and told me about the 10th thing that she learned about her husband at the time. Now, she did get divorced, but at the time, she was in it. And when she told me the 10th thing she learned about her husband, I told her, do not bring it to him, because you're not going to leave him. So what is the point of bringing it to him and you're not going to leave him? And I do not want him to know that you know and you're just never going anywhere. And at that time, she was not ready to leave him. And she muscled up and she's now divorced and she left him. I mean, that's her story. But what I'm saying is, in a perfect world, yes, we're all strong women and we're just going to leave because he cheated. It doesn't always work that way. So you got to have a mastermind. You got to have a plan. Like, maybe you live with him and you ain't got no money to leave your house just yet. And that's just what it is, the reality of it. We talking about reality. I'm not talking about fantasy. Cause guess what? I don't get pressed on what you do with your man, cause you can't move in with me. Okay. But if you want to, shout out to my Oracle, Quentin, who always says, it's my job to help you get to better faster. If you want to get to better faster, sometimes you got to have a game plan. So let's just say you are dealing with a man and you're not able to leave right away because of finances. It's okay. You can still call him out about it, but you at that moment got to put together an action plan. Maybe it's an extra job. Maybe you don't start spending, you stop spending as much money and you collect, can I talk? And you can, oh my God, I stutter. I think you know this by now. And you collect your coins together. And you collect your coins until you can't financially set yourself up. This is real, excuse me. This is real. I'm talking about real life things, not fantasy things. So, me personally, you got to decide what you can deal with, right? When it comes to a relationship, every woman has a different thing she could tolerate. There are women who cheating is not an issue for her. You like it, I love it. Okay. It is your life. Okay. There are some women that the reward of what they did with that man outweighs the challenges they may go through. That's their business. Like that's their business. You gotta decide if that's your truth. Can you do it? I know I cannot be with a man who has to be with somebody else. It does not work for me. If you need, like, I kind of even say that sometimes on first dates. Like, I let it be known because I attract men who do extremely well for themselves. And these men are used to a lot of women. And let me tell you something. It's your life. I get it. Like, I understand. I watch and I see how the women come. And I always make it known, like, listen, I get it. You successful, you got money, you attractive, all those things. If you need 5 girls, I respect it. I just can't be one. I'm not going to be one of them. And what I've learned in my own experience is they try me. They literally try me. And they're used to women probably even saying the same, but not standing by it. They're used to whatever they have, you know, it's all different things that they may have. She may say it, but is she really gonna walk away? Baby, I'm out. I'm not doing it. One thing I have learned, and I will say this, I'm not doing it because I already done it. Like, I learned that lesson. So everything I'm telling you are the things I've been through. Don't get it twisted. I have been you, girlfriend. I have been the girl that I'm telling you about that called the bluff and didn't go nowhere. You know, decided to see if she could deal with things and be okay with it. Like, honey, I'm the girl I'm talking about. And that's why I'm not that girl no more, because I learned myself, I'm not about that life. Okay. I'm not about that. You need more than more than one woman life. I'm not about that. You got enough money. Just be happy because you got money life. I'm not about that. You attractive. Just be a happy I chose you life. No, honey, if you are not treating me the way I treat myself, the way God treats me, then we not going to work. We're not going to work. That's a standard I have. And it's not just with relationship with men. It's an overall standard I have in relationships. But I want to go back and bring it to the forefront. High value men. I think that's some bullshit. And let me tell you why I think the conversation around high value men is bullshit, because it's predicated on things that don't matter that much. It's predicated on looks, money, swag, career status. What? Some of these men who fit that category that might be extremely attractive, have a lot of money, a very successful career. To me, they are no value men. Like, those things should not be weighed when it comes to high value men. And that's why I don't like that title, because the men who fit that title description that's been passed around this narrative around the internet for so long, it's just it's a misconception and it's a lie. And I think women are chasing those men, and I think it's better to say high demand men. They're not high value men, they're in high demand. Now, that is true. Those attributes are in high demand for women, but high value is the man that shows up for you. Okay. I've said this, I think, probably on every episode I did of the podcast. But what value is there to a man if you can't call him when you need him? And what I mean, need him, you're in the hospital. You have a flat tire late at night. You know, you have something major going on in your life. You can know a high value man and the attributes that are passed around along on the internet: successful, attractive, money. But if he doesn't show up for you when you need him, he's essentially no value. That is really a no value man. And that's why I don't like the slogan high value men, because it's not based on the things that truly matter. One of my best friends, who I'm going to bring on the podcast eventually when her schedule aligns, who is married, she said something to me and it always stuck with me. And she said she's married now, but during her dating period before she got married, she said the most attractive man is the man who treats me the best. And I just thought that was so key, because I have a friend who, by definition will fall under the high value man category, as in he's attractive, extremely successful, well-spoken, very connected. Like, he has all the attributes. And then one time we had a conversation and he said that when he dates a woman, she should give him 3 months. Like, she should give him 3 months of her undivided attention because of the level of status of a man he was. And I said, no, she should not. She should be available for you if she wants to date you, but unless you lock her in, she should date, because you haven't sealed the deal. Now, don't misconstrue people when I say date, because I'm going to say date a lot. To me, dating does not mean sex. And it means you are dating, you are collecting data with different people, and you're enjoying your life. You're not sitting at home, rolling, twiddling your thumbs, scrolling on Instagram, following the one man that you want to be with. I'm never going to tell a woman to do that. No, girlfriend, live your life. Life is big. Life is wonderful. Go live it. Like, if he ain't thinking about you, why you thinking about him? Like, he ain't scrolling on the Instagram page, seeing what you're doing in your house. He outside living his best life. You better do the same. So with my friend, who would be, by definition, high value man, I disagreed with him when it came to she should give him 3 months. And he said, no, because I'm different. But what does it matter? You have all this success. But if I need you and you can't show up for me, what does your success matter in the benefit of me? Like, think about that for a second. He's a high value man. He's attractive. He has money, all these attributes, but you can't get what you need out of him. That equals no value. He literally has no value to your life if you can't align the things that you desire that he can't provide. Something might be as simple as time. Y'all do know these men that y'all want, work is important. How you think he got the money to be the man that you want? He works. So time is of the essence. You will have to compromise time with a man who makes a lot of money. Point blank, period. That's just a known fact. I don't know why any woman thinks that these men don't work. They got jobs. So maybe you're a woman that's like, I want to spend more time with the person. Well, maybe he's just not available. And that's why, on that accord, a high value man sometimes picks the woman that fits with his life, which I'm just using high value men for the sake of the conversation. I don't like the title, nor do I agree with it. But for the sake of the conversation, that high value man that you have crowned usually is treated as the prize, as Alejandro just said. But he didn't say he was high value. He just said he was the prize. But before I go, what's the difference?
Like you said, high value could be a definition, could not be a definition. The prize is who's the chaser and who's the settler.
Do you agree that the high value man that has been passed around the internet, the attributes are based on career accolades and attractiveness and money?
Yes.
Yes. Do you agree that that should be true?
Yeah, but I think there's some categories left out, like, because there's other things men can do in relationships. Do they cook for you in the morning? Do they listen to you? Do they help out? Are they problem solvers?
Are they problem solvers? Ooh. So do you think those attributes weigh more than monetary?
I think everything is a category.
Everything's a category.
And then you just put in, like, from 1 to 10, how much you bring to the table on each category. And then at the end, you get your result.
I love that. There's so many different things that weigh that might be important to you. And you got to decide if you are getting what's most important to you, right? And that's an individual thing. It's not the same for one woman. Remember, life is not one size fit all. You got to do some self-reflection and learn yourself and learn what really, really, really matters for you. But they say that high value men, or men in general at times, are busy. Let me tell you something. Nobody's ever that busy. If he does not answer your text, he does not want to talk to you. Point blank, period. If he does not make a plan to be with you, he does not want to be with you. LeBron James, I think, makes more than $1 million a week. And I'm quite sure Savannah could get a hold of him at any given moment, okay? Because that's his wife. So a man will make time and he will be available for the woman he wants to be available for. So if you are chasing a man and you're getting all the excuses of, oh, I can't make it. Now, life's, not taken away from that, but girlfriend. And most of us have the phone in our hands more than anything. So it's just a lie that he did not text you back. So these are the direct, indirect ways when a man that you are chasing does not want you back. And going back to the high value conversation I was just having with Alejandro, I got to learn how to move, like say it with my tongue. Alejandro. Can you say it?
Alejandro?
But I feel like, you guys are going to probably get sick of this example of being in the hospital and who's going to be there for you. But I just think it's so important because you'll learn the list of options. If you make that the important, like if you put characteristics of people that are going to show up for you above all, you're going to learn that you truly don't have that wide of an option of people that will show up for you that can be considered your husband if that's what you desire, right? It's a small pool of men probably that will do those type of things. But I think a lot of times what happens is, and depending on where you are in life, because there's different things that matter to different people. But I feel like women start to wake up, if they didn't get in their 20s and they didn't get in their 30s, they get it in their 40s. And what they get in their 40s is, and the reason why sometimes women get in their 40s because they're done with being outside, right? So 20s, they were living their best life. Yay, we're living our best life. 30, you start to settle down a little bit, but you got a coin because you're probably doing well in your career. So you're traveling and you're still kind of living your best life. And then in your 40s, you're like, okay, party's over. I want somebody to be in the house with me. And now you start to get serious. And now you might start chasing a man who's been being chased his whole life. And you can't understand why he doesn't want you because you're so used to getting what you want. That kind of sometimes happens to women in their 40s. Did that happen to me personally? No, it didn't. Because let me tell you something about me. I'm going to be honest. I just will not chase a man. I will never chase a man because I want to be treated a certain way. And I've dated men who, like, I had girlfriend requirements with men who literally were used to just dating women with no title. And I'm like, not me, Jack. If you want me, either I'm your girlfriend or I'm moving around, period. And I stand by that. Like, I feel like if you really, especially if you want marriage, bare minimum, you got to learn the man that will at least make you a girlfriend. It's so crazy that there's a lot of men don't ever want to make a girl their girlfriend. Well, the high demand men. The high demand men can't sometimes understand the reason why a woman should get the title of him. Alejandro, I want to bring you back in because we talked about this. And I asked you, was you ready for a girlfriend? And what did you say to me?
Depending what she brings to my life.
You said table.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, depending what she brings to the table.
A man is saying that in order for him to crown a girl as his girlfriend, it depends on what she brings to the table. What does that mean? Break it down for the people who might not understand.
Well, right now I'm in a point in my career that I'm ascending. A lot of things are going my way. So I would love somebody who can help me keep that momentum instead of slowing it down. I've dealt with people that, especially in our business, they don't like the attention being given to, their partner. And they get jealous. They cause problems that are not necessary. And so if somebody that has the same ambition as me and help me,
Okay, so you want that Jay-Z, Beyonce, package, like we're both out here getting
that would be nice.
That would be nice. Okay. So it's interesting because shout out to my friend Russell who says a man should well, I think there's difference because Russell is also single right now too, and you're single. But it's interesting, and guess what? I know this to be true. I know that men, when they settle down, they're settling down with a woman who they deemed in some way is bringing something that's different. Like, I have a theory, and it's the Kendra G theory, because, there's so much conversation. You got to be a 7, you got to be an 8, you got to be a 9. I said, when men settle down, they settle down with a 1. And what I mean by that is she is one of one. She brings something that no other woman brings. And that, whatever that specialness is, it can't be determined by me. It has to be determined by that man. And he could tell you. I can't tell you. I can't speak for him. But when a man is in high demand, he has a lot of options of women. And normally they're all beautiful. And when one goes, because the way men operate, I feel like men don't date with is the word scarcity? Can I get the word together, try? Like
scarcity?
Y'all know I'm dyslexic. Scarcity. Men, I'll say this. The men that people consider high value men, for the sake of this conversation, they don't date with a scarcity mindset. They date like if you don't work out, another woman is coming. That's how they normally date, unless they have met their one-on-one factor, right? And also that's the cloth of who they are too. Like, obviously we've been talking about Sierra and Russell Wilson for how many years now? The baby Future, how old Future? However old Future, baby Future is. That's how long we've been talking about Sarah and Russell Wilson. But Russell Wilson, that's in his DNA. The type of man that he is who he is. He wanted to have a wife that he could build a family with. I also think people also forget, yes, he loves on baby Future, but Sierra also gave him 3 children. And Sierra is one of the top Black women on the planet. So I want people to understand this. When we talk about Sierra, please understand she is not no average Black woman, never was, she never will be. I know Sierra in real life, always loved her. And one thing I will say about Sierra, y'all know I come from radio, so I interviewed her very early on in her career. And I remember doing an interview with her, and she told me she would be married by the age of 30. And I was like, girl, no, you have a career, you have a life. Like, this is like goodies. I'm talking to her. She's like, no, I'm going to be married by the age of 30. And she was. She was. And you know what I love about Sierra? I feel like her marriage definitely didn't slow down her career. If anything, some could argue it kind of helped her career because the fascination of her marriage has put her in this conversation of a lifetime. And Sierra is beautiful inside and out. And I love that she represents that you can be a mother and be a wife and still have your career. But if you notice, she always, like, her marriage trumps everything. When Russell was moving, she was moving. You know, it was what it was. We gonna work around this schedule because we are a family unit. And I think I don't want to spend too much time on marriage because we did that in the last episode, but I just think for the women who say they want to be wives, are you willing to make the wife sacrifice? And only you can answer that question. And the wife sacrifice is your individual desires do not trump anymore. You can be selfish when you're single. You can't be selfish when you're married because now you're a part of a unit and you got to work together. And there's times you might have to do something that's for the greater good for the family and not the greater good for yourself. Are you ready to make that commitment? Are you ready to sign up for that? Not the wedding day, not the honeymoon. Are you ready to make the sacrifice that wives make? Only you can answer that. But keeping in theme of today's episode, the high value man, I just really want to wake people up because I think that especially with a lot of men with a lot of money, honey, I don't know if you're ready for that type of lifestyle because that game is real. You know, I don't want to spend too much time on celebrities, but you know I come from a celebrity background as an entertainment reporter. Please, I was never a lawyer any lifetime, although my outfit is giving pretty law today. But it was my job for 20 plus years to cover entertainment on radio and television. And, you know, I don't even know by the time this podcast airs if Mariah the Scientist and Young Thug will be together. They might be together. In this moment, as I'm recording it, they're not together, but that might change. But in the respect of their relationship, I will say this. I'm not a malicious person. I don't know Mariah the Science personally. I don't know Young Thug personally. So anything that I will say will be observation from my eyes on the internet streets. So I want to start there. But we have witnessed a lot of information come out and you know, obviously she held him down when he was in jail, and then the jail audio has leaked, and it seems as though he was talking to another woman, and while talking to another woman, he insinuated that he would be willing to get her pregnant or have a kid with her, and that was the latest. That's where I'm at in this moment. And then Young Thug tweets chapter ended, with the assumption being Mariah the Scientist has had her wits end. Okay, I hope when this airs, she doesn't go back, but that's her life. She has to do what she wants to do. But in the case of high value, Young Thug in so many ways has all the attributes. He has the money. He has the fame. I mean, I don't know if high value, I think it's little change when it comes to entertainment, because even though he's been to jail, he got all those other things that women will look past. But this is what comes along when you decide to be in a relationship, when you are loving on someone that may not be loving you the same. And, you know, social media is not your friend in these moments, and being a celebrity is not your friend in these moments, because Mariah the Scientist and Young Thug are a celebrity example of this, but this happens often. And this happens a lot where a woman might be attached to a guy and she's trying to hold on to her girlfriend status or her wife status, but she's really dealing with a lot from this man. And she's trying to denounce the negativity and focus on the positivity. But what I learned is I might be able to turn the other cheek, but my spirit cannot. My spirit cannot tolerate the bullshit. I'm not built that way. I, as in Kendra G. So you have to treat me the way God treats me. And what I mean by that, that means with respect and love and tender and care, and you have my back and you're there for me. And maybe treating me the way God treats me is probably a high standard. But what I'm saying when I say that is I know that God has my best interest. So what does it matter if you are considered to be a high value man if you don't have my best interest? And it's not in my best interest if you're a man that needs plenty of women. So I just really would like, if we're going to use the word high value man or high value men, I think we should change the definition of the requirements, right? In order to be a high value man, you have to be a person that is respected by not just other men, but by women too, okay? Because a lot of men respect men, well, I don't respect child. But you have to be respected. You have to have good character. In my own personal level, you got to know the higher up. You got to know God. You cannot, to me, you're not a high value man if you don't know God. Okay? But you just got to have a good soul, and you got to show up, and you got to be there when it matters. You know, that's so important when it matters. Anybody, I always say this, you throw a birthday party, everybody can show up for that. But who shows up on your worst day? That's high value man. That's high value man. And it's not always determined by a salary. Because think about it, sometimes the man with the big salary is out working. How is he going to show up for you? So I just think that as we grow in society and learn what's happening, we can't allow people to brainwash us. You know, I host a dating show. And one of the requirements, one of the questions is, should he make a certain amount of money? And women will say he has to make at least 100K. And I have come to learn they just recite it like a parrot. What does that even mean, he has to make 100K? Like, how would you even know that he only makes 70,000? Like, how do we even break it down? But it's so been used to being said. And in all honesty, if you make 100K as a woman and you meet a man who makes 60K, that's already that's an extra $60,000 that you can add onto your lifestyle. Like, that's how I would look at it if that was the category. I don't like talking about money too much, because one thing I've learned is money is so sensitive, and people have attached so much to money. Like, I'm going to be on tour. Shout outs to Ace Metaphor. I'm going on tour with tonight's conversation. On the tour, I'm going to have dates with Ayana Von Sant, and Ayana Von Sant, all hail the queen.
Because you talked about money, but what about physical pleasure then?
I'm going to let Alejandro come in. He told me he has a question. What's your question?
Okay, so men hold two things valuable: money and what they can bring sexually into the table. So let's talk about the sexual side of a high-valued man.
Some high-value men don't provide good sex.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why he works so hard to make a lot of money, because he wants to keep you. So since he can't, God, I want to, listen, y'all, I'm not a vulgar woman, so I try to say things in the most professional way as possible. But there are some times where a man's penis is his currency. And what I mean by that is he D's you down, but he has no money, but his D is so good, he actually focuses on women who have money. And there's a lot of women who have money who will, I don't want to use the word pay, but let's say would overlook his lack of income for her sexual desires. So gold really is high value man and good sex. If you get that for a woman is gold. But I think that some women don't know the compromises that women make at times for marriage and relationships. And sometimes you might be with a man who has a lot of money, but he's not putting it down in the bedroom. And sometimes you might be with a man who's putting it down in the bedroom, but don't have a lot of money. But of course, the wow factor is he puts it down in the bedroom and he has a lot of money and now you're just happy. But I think that I will say this, just like, genetics are genetics, people. Like, you're born with what God gave you. So I do sometimes have a sympathy for men who just were not born well endowed. It's not their fault. They just were not born well endowed. And these men, I love that you asked this question because you done took me in a whole different realm with that question. These men sometimes are the most loyal. They show up the best. They show up the most. They're the most caring. They're going to love on your kids. They're probably going to do a lot because they know they can't please you. They can't dematize you. So all they can do is be the most amazing man to keep you in their presence. Now, please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not saying every man that does that cannot D you down. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that is some of the guys' secret weapon. They got to keep you around, so they're going to be the best man they could be. Sometimes men that provide good sex, they like, you ain't going nowhere. That's why sometimes you have an argument. Think about, ladies, think about the times when you might be mad with a guy. What he try to do? He try to have sex with you. Because he feels as though if he can have sex with you, you're going to get over the reason why you was mad at him. It's called dematize you. Some men don't have dematized power, okay? They don't have dematized power because they just wasn't blessed that way. That's not the gift God gave them. It's okay. There's no shame. I'm not talking... there's no shame. It is what it is. But sometimes that man is going to work harder. But it gets a challenge because, ladies, this is what happens. And this is why I say do not enter into situationships because it's like once you bite that apple and you've been dematized by a demon, because you probably was a demon, now that's your standard of sexual pleasure. And you might not find that standard of sexual pleasure. But because you experienced it, it's hard for you to be satisfied with something less than. So now you have a decision to make. Do you stay on the list of the man that dematized you? Do you stay with the man that dematized you and maybe accept the things that you don't want to accept? Or do you go with the guy who might be a great guy and is going to do all the things that you want him to do? Show up, not cheat, be there, all these things. But he can't provide that same D power. What do you choose? What do you choose? Now, of course, these are not the only options, but we are playing the game of choice. Ladies, only you can answer this question for yourself. One guy can dematize you, demon D, but he ain't gonna be the man. Like he already decided he's not gonna make you his girlfriend. He's not gonna marry you. He got other women, and that's what it is. But he don't mind keeping you in his dematized rotation. You might be on a list of 5, and in his mind, he feels like he's doing you a favor. Oh, don't get it twisted. Men who were born well endowed feel like the woman that they have sex with, they are doing her a favor, because how many women wouldn't love to be pleased by me? This is the mindset. You got to understand the mindset. So in his mind, he's like my co-executive producer, Alejandro, feels like he's the prize. So you got him. Now, the other option is the man who he can't dematize you, but he going to go to church with you. He going to pray with you. He going to be there for you on your saddest days. He really likes you, but you got to work with him in the bedroom. Who do you choose? That is your decision. Who do you think most women choose, Alejandro?
I think option 2.
The good guy?
Yeah, they keep the demon available. They keep them interested. They follow them on Instagram. They like their post. If they end up in the same city together, they might do something. But they always stay with the comfort, even though they're interested in the outside thing.
Oh, so we're getting into the women cheat conversation.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, let's talk about it because, ladies, there's only the conversation about men cheating. No, women cheat. Women cheat. I know it to be true. Women cheat. I'm a woman. And that's why another time, sometimes I laugh at men who think they have, they chase a woman. They don't, because men don't always chase based off a character. And I'm like, sir, she's gorgeous and I'm happy for you. But she's sleeping with somebody else. I don't know if you know it. Maybe you don't care. It's your life. It's your business. You know what I say on this show? You like it. I love it. But that's interesting because we don't spend a lot of conversation on women who do cheat. And this is a very real thing. Women, we're just great at it. Like, we're just great at it because most men are kind of stupid. So it's easy to be a woman if you want to be sneaky in that category. I don't condone it, to be quite honest. I'm older. Everything I'm telling you, I've been through the life lessons. I've been cheated on and I've been a cheater and I didn't like it. I didn't like either categories. I didn't like being cheated on and I didn't like when I cheated because I didn't feel good. That's just not how I'm made that's not my cloth. There's some people that's their cloth, child. That's how they get down. And I'm not here to judge it, but you got to know yourself. And we do get lost in the conversation of women cheating. And sometimes women will lock it down with a man who might be a provider and money and then get sexually pleased in another manner. That's terrible. But I just believe in karma too much. That will catch up to you at some point in time. At some point in time, you're going to have to deal with the consequences of your actions. Like, karma is real. But I will say this, though. Going back to high value men and the way that it's presented in society, this is a very small list of men. Only those men get the opportunity to play the game in their favor. And it's generous to say 10%. That's a generous statement. Listen, 90% of men have to work to get a woman. 90%. And the 90% that are working to get a woman and that want a woman, they're frustrated. They're frustrated because women, and I'll add me, you make it easy for the 10% men. Like, you don't have the same requirements that you have when a man is attractive, can dig you down, has money or something, whatever your negotiation moment is. So the 90% of men who may not have attributes enough to get a woman just off of money, looks, access, all those things, they are frustrated, they're mad, and they're bitter, and they're upset that they have to work this hard to get a girl that a guy who might even be their friend, because they could have friends of men who are high value considered, and they see how easy it is for them to get women, like these non-requirements that women have when they call on my show. They all of a sudden break them when they meet a certain type of guy. And they're mad and they're frustrated. And that's why they're so loud, because I will say this, there are some really good men who are overlooked every single day for all different types of reasons. And it's not for me to convince a woman to align her life with a man she's not going to be happy with. I don't believe in that either. I believe in being full, whole, complete by yourself first. That sets the tone. Then people add on to your life. But you got to be whole, complete, full first before you attach yourself to a person. Never forget that. But in the conversation of the high value man, he is walking around with the S on his chest, Superman, because women gave it to him. And ladies, the only way to make this notion of a high value man fall from grace is to stop giving him grace. Thank you, God. That was so good. Stop giving him grace. I once said, treat every man like he's ugly. And what I meant by that statement, and women will get this, an ugly man has to go through hoops to get a woman's attention. He has to do everything because she don't find him attractive. And he has to work extremely hard to get her attention. Well, treat every man to that standard. Don't change your standard up because he could D you down, he attractive, and he got money. No, if you know what you want and your worth is non-negotiable, it goes across the board. And if he has, because let me tell you something, either he has it in him or he don't got it in him, okay? And what I mean by that is either he's gonna rise to the occasion, he really wants to be in a relationship, and that's the kind of man that he is, or he has no desire at all. Now, two things matter. If he has a desire, he wants to be in a relationship, and he's not pursuing you, then it don't matter because he's not pursuing you, therefore he don't want you. So you're never gonna get this treatment that you want from him because he's not pursuing you. Or maybe he doesn't have it in him at all. I think you have to start learning. There are a lot of men who truly have no desire that y'all want to be in a relationship. Like, they are happy living single because everything works in their favor. They have enough women to rotate. They might have children, they may not have children, but whatever they decided, they are very comfortable in not being a husband, not being a boyfriend, not being assigned to one woman. And that's just what it is. And you have to learn that fast. Every man does not have that desire. And what I have learned is women usually want that man. She usually wants the man who don't want to settle down at all or with you. Stop it. Stop it. I will slap you in the head. Stop it. Wake up. Wake up. Stop doing that because you're going to bump yourself on the head and then you're going to get mad at him for being him. You know, you got to take responsibility in your actions when it comes to this dating. Every man reveals to you who he is. And even I have been on this ride. You get a red flag and it's like you had 6 flags. And it's like you saw a red flag and instead of leaving the park, you like, I'm going to go on another ride. Okay. But you can't forget, you saw that first flag. So then you go on another ride. And now you on red flag number 2. Okay, red flag number 2, you still on the ride. Okay, and let me give you examples. Okay, first red flag, he don't never call you when you hit him. Okay, but he's just busy. Okay. He'll never answer the phone when you call him. Let me use it like that. Let me start from the top. Okay, let's give examples of red flag moments and how you as a woman keep going. Red flag number 1, every time you call him, he don't answer his phone. That's a red flag. Every time you call him, he can't answer his phone. Every single time, he can't answer his phone. But you make an excuse. He just busy. He out in this world getting it. It ain't no thing. You keep going. You in 6 flags. We're going to go to the ride number 2. Okay, ride number 2. You can't go to his house. He always want to come to your house. Okay, but my house is better. It's nice. That's not the biggest deal. Something don't feel right, but it's all good. Okay, you keep going. Now we at 6 flags. Now we going to ride number 3. Oh, you heard he has a girlfriend and he tells you he trying to break up with her, but just give him some time. I'm going to give him some time. You know, that makes sense. It's not easy to break up with a person that you've been with for a while. Keep going. Then you on ride number 4 and you learn the girlfriend really isn't a girlfriend, she a wife, and that's why you can't never go to his house because he can't bring the girl who he messing with is you to his home, and that's why he can never answer the phone when you call him because he with his damn family. Okay? So you could choose to ignore the first red flag, but just get ready for the ride, girlfriend. And here's the deal. Give yourself grace. We're all human. Take it as a lesson and decide not to repeat it. That's what I've done. Honey, I've been through everything I tell you. I just decided, okay, I've learned this lesson, God, and I'm not going to repeat it. And I'm going to share with other women so they can understand, listen, it doesn't get better. So the longer you decide to stay on the ride, the worse it will get. It's always easier to leave the park once you see the first sign. You're still at the door. Your feelings aren't attached. You know how many women have babies by men, and if they were honest with themselves, they decided to keep going to flag after flag to flag after flag? And you got to take personal responsibility because you're the one that has to deal with your actions. And people say, well, how come we tell women to deal with the actions and we don't tell men to become better men? Okay, we can't tell men to become better men, and that's a fair assessment. But right now, honey, it's you, yourself, and you. Like, the choices that you make, you got to live with the consequences. So whether he gets it or not ain't your problem. It's your problem if you don't get it or not. And one thing that I know for sure is law of attraction. And if you get yourself better and become better, you're going to attract better. Right now, you're attracting these type of guys because that's the level that you're on. So it's time for you to do self-assessment and make some changes. But at this moment, child, you're going to make your decision because it's your life. But I will challenge you with this. Let's change the definition of high value man. Don't make it about looks. Don't make it about money. Don't make it about access. Make it about how that man treats you. Can you rely on him? Will he show up for you? Is he down for you? Does he have your back? That is so important, because what does it matter if a man has all these physical attributes if he does not have your back? I'm telling you, that's the definition of a no value man for your life. And I think you're so amazing that the only people you should make time for are the people that are willing to sow into you as you are sowing into them. And sometimes we sow into people who don't really deserve us to sow into them. But it's going to take for you as a woman to wake up. So right now, this dating game, it's a lot going on, child. These men are running rapid. Just like Alejandro said, he feels like he's the prize.
I do want to make a clarification, though. I do some chasing, but I've also been chased a good amount in my life. And when you compare it to, I have friends that don't get the same thing, you kind of see.
Yeah, because you have one day he'll be on camera. You're attractive. How tall are you?
Like 6'2" says my license.
You meet the height requirements, and also you work around a lot of who's who people, so you give the access category. But yeah, I mean, I can understand. So you attest to what I said when I said that there are men who they notice men like you get women way easier than what they got to do to get women.
Yeah, because if they were with me in the bar, but again, like, also is I have some standards sometimes. Some of the women that do the chasing, I'm not that interested in. And then, like, the woman I'm more interested in, sometimes I have to do some chasing. But then when intercourse comes into play, where if it happens, and, I'm still, like, what you said, you're okay being single. And once you plant the flag in that sense, then they're like, no, like, you're not going anywhere.
Yes, I think once you lock it down with a particular person.
No, like, once you have intercourse, now the power kind of switches to the man, because he's like, he already, and then some girl.
Say it again for the people, because I've been saying this forever. Say it, Alejandro.
Once a woman decides to have intercourse with a man, the man now is in control.
Tell us why.
Because you already gave us your most precious thing.
And this is why I say it is a fair requirement to have, I'm in a relationship before you have sex. Now, some women have marriage requirements. Listen, you like it, I love it. But it is a fair assessment to say I only have sex if we are in an exclusive relationship. Point blank, period. And that's why I don't really like situationships, because like Alejandro said, unless you are, now there are some women who just want to be demonetized, and that might be her goal. Like, there are some women who are G's, like, they are not sexually attached. They can have a good time with a man and never call him again. And if that's you, that's you. But you got to know yourself. I would challenge, a lot of women are not really like that. They get emotional and they want more, especially after sex, and they start fantasizing. And like Alejandro just said, it doesn't work the same way for most men. And now he is in a position where he gets to decide if he still wants to be with you? Does he pursue you the same? I think many women can attest to a man really pursued her hard, and then once they had sex, he switched up on her, and then now she wanted more. So, and also you just got to know what type of man would put you in a girlfriend, will give you that title. There's a lot of men that you're dating who will never make you their girlfriend, and it's better to know it sooner than later. Don't waste your time. We don't got no time to waste on planet Earth, honey. Life is up for the living, and we're going to live, and we're going to be happy, and we're going to be clear on the things that we desire for our lives. And if your desire is, listen, I like you, I'm seeking marriage, I'm only willing to date men who have that same type of mindset and mind, stand on it and hold your standards. And I stand on, do not have sex with anybody who will not make you their girlfriend, bare minimum.
I disagree.
Tell me why.
Nah, because as a man, you know.
Yeah, because it works in your favor.
Yeah.
If disagreeing.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like having fun, but at the same time, it's a tricky situation, because in one side, you want to get in bed really quickly as possible. And the other side, you want to feel special, and that not any other man can get that as quickly as you do. And it's hard to wire your brain. If I got it on the second date, how many other guys got it on the second date?
Right. No. Oh, good point. Good point. Good point. And I will say also to that, to what you just said, but you also are the reason why, and this, ladies, is how you prove that you're a prize. Because you're willing to keep it moving. Like, listen, I like you. I think you're dope. You're cool. I don't have sex unless we're in relationships. And he might, here's the deal, you got to be willing to call his bluff. Because what I'm telling you is, I'm going to tell women, like, you know, I own a dating app. I believe in dating. I do. I believe in dating until you find a person you can lock in with. Everybody's timetable is different. But I don't believe that you should compromise certain core values. And like you just kind of said, he'll know that you're special or not. And I know this to be true because y'all know well, whether you know it or not, I come from celebrity background. And I'll never name names because I'm not that kind of woman. But there's been so many very successful, famous men along my journey. Like, this is like a 20-year period journey that tried to talk to me and was truly amazed that I would not be intimate with them. And very famous people was amazed that I would not be intimate with them. And what's interesting even more for me is, I know I'm attractive, but I know I'm not walking around with people crowned as the attributes that these type of men at times desire, which is light skin, real hair, you know, like that's like the package that's being sold. But I'm here to tell you what I know for sure. Like, you can have a standard and you can prove these men that you are different, and you are willing to walk away from their lives and be with someone that will rise to your standard. And they will be like, damn, I ain't never meet a girl like you. Doesn't mean he's gonna be with you. So I don't want to get that confused. But he will have a respect for you, and then you will teach him that women like you exist. See, a lot of these men right now don't think that type of girl exists. They have been shown that at some point in time, she's gonna go. She's gonna go for the money. She's gonna tolerate the disrespect. She's gonna do all these things. No. And what is even more interesting, let me tell you about my friends who are wives. And I have one friend they're billionaires, like literally billionaires. And she told me, Lisa, wonderful podcast, Women Empowerment, in the podcast, told me that if her husband cheated, she would leave. If he cheated at 3:00, she would be gone by 3:30. And I was like, really? She was like, absolutely. I will be gone by 3:30.
I have such a strong opinion when it comes to infidelity.
Yes.
The first thing, when I very first met my boyfriend, who's now my husband, I said, if you ever cheat on me, you'll never hear from me again. I won't let you give an excuse. I won't let you explain. Like, literally, I find out at 12:03 p.m. I've packed my bags by 12:04 p.m. I've just said that from the start. So I come with my own thinking on infidelity. So I don't want to put judgment on it. But there is a part of me that really is very curious, again, no judgment,
right?
How you can build your self-worth while pretending that your husband isn't sleeping with another woman.
I'm with you. Infidelity doesn't work for me either, but I've learned not to judge women.
Right. So sorry, okay. I want to make sure. Right. Zero judgment.
Yeah, zero judgment.
The reason why I asked the question is that here's what I really worry about. It actually does impact our worth, and it actually does impact our confidence and self-esteem.
It does.
We just don't realize. So what's happening is we're struggling in life. We've made this one decision that I'm going to forgive my husband. I'm going to let him cheat, whatever. Again, no judgment. But unbeknownst to us, it subconsciously breaks us inside, and it holds us back from building our self-worth. That's why I asked actually the question.
So let's break this down. Yeah. So let me ask you this before I go there. Today, in this moment, after everything you and your husband built, y'all get into an argument, one wild night happens, he sleeps with another woman, you're leaving tomorrow.
1,000%.
I love that.
I would be 50-50 money, like I'm not looking to get more money than I think that like I deserve, any of that.
Right.
Here's the real reason, is the trust has been broken. And when I say I have given myself over to my husband completely, I have. And I've given him the strongest weapon.
Yes.
I've given him the atomic bomb, in essence, where he can blow up my life. But for me, I chose to do it because I want that type of relationship with him.
Right.
Now, what ends up happening, or what has ended up happening, is I trust him implicitly. So if he was to go on a show, on a podcast, and there was a green room, and there was a woman, he happened to walk in, and there's a woman naked, and they're like, I'm never gonna tell Lisa. She's never gonna know. I trust that he'd be like, sorry, I'm a faithful husband. I've given myself over that much. So you can imagine, if I've given myself over that much to him and he abuses it, done.
And they're billionaires, like literally. It is what it is. They got a river in their home. Like I went to her home and they got a river when you walk through the doors. I love Lisa. But what I've learned is a couple of my friends who are married, they have that standard. It is a non-negotiable. If this man cheats on me, I'm out the door. That's how much they know their worth and their wives. So don't cheapen your value, because a man that respects it will rise to the occasion. And the man who doesn't, you don't want him, all you're going to do is waste your time, and you're going to add him to your track record of life, and you're going to call him a mistake, and you're going to call him a narcissist, you're going to call him all these titles when he showed you at the door who he was. Now, having your standard is going to make, the pool of options lower. Be okay with that. You only want to be with one? Good. Weed them out. Oh, you can't agree to not having sex until we're in a relationship? Okay, case closed. Have a nice life. I wish you the best. And you keep it moving. But you got to set the tone. You got to set the tone for yourself. I can't set the tone for you. A guy can't set the tone for you. Your friends can't set the tone for you. You got to set the tone for yourself. And I'm a firm believer in you could do whatever you want to do as long as you're willing to deal with the consequences of your action. You got to woman up and be willing to deal with the consequences of your actions. So if you wanted to be demonetized and have a good weekend with a man that you knew he wasn't going to go further than past that weekend, be fine with that. Y'all had a good weekend. Don't hit him on Tuesday asking him, hey, my mother is renewing her vows. Can you come with me? No, that's not what he signed up for. That's not what you signed up for. Okay? That wasn't the agreement y'all had. So you're going to have to woman up to the actions and the choices that you make. And then with standing in that responsibility, then you got to decide, is this really what I want to do? Is this really what I want? I'm 46 years old. So at this moment, I'm backtracking experiences and sharing them with you. Does this align to just settle if you're unhappy? No, not saying that. Please do not misunderstand me. I'm not saying that either, because for me personally, I always think your purpose is a solo purpose first. And if you meet a person that aligns to your life, that's a bonus, not a requirement. That's how I That's how I live. I live that God sent me to planet Earth for a life journey, and I'm on assignment for him. And as long as I can do my assignment and my purpose of what God sent me here for, then you can be attached to my life. But if you take away from my purpose, then you can't be attached to my life. And because in this moment, we're talking about romantic sectors, let's talk about how you would know. You are very much unhappy. You don't have peace in your heart. A lot of men are always saying that peace is a requirement for them. Well, guess what? It's also a requirement for a woman too. And it's not peaceful for me if you outside with other women. It's not peaceful for me if I'm working really hard and you're not bringing what you can to the table. It's not peaceful for me if you told me one thing and now that we're in this relationship together, you showing me something else. It's not peaceful for me if your words are not backing up with your actions. Just like a man needs peace, a woman deserves peace too. It's a two-way street in a peaceful requirement. And a man once said, you never have to ask for peace if you get peace. Let me tell you something about peaceful people. Peaceful people, they will remove themselves from people who don't offer them peace because they know they giving you peace. Men who don't bring drama, once a woman starts bringing some drama, they out. They like, oh, I don't got time for this. Like, you not bringing me peace. It's not even a non-negotiable. Like, men will be gone. It's women who compromise their peace time and time and time and time again for a man. Stop that shit. Stop that. Your self-being, your peace of mind matters. And if you are attached to a person and you can't have no peace, that is God's clear message to you. This is not who I sent for you. Now, if you want them, rock out. But it's not who I sent for you, because the man that God sends for you is going to offer you peace as a bare minimum. As a bare minimum, he's going to give you peace. Like, that is free. He's not going to lie to you. He's going to tell you the truth. He's going to be very amazing because that's who he is with or without you. That's the core of he is. But some of y'all don't attract peaceful men because y'all are not peaceful women. I love you. You're drama-filled. You bring a lot of madness, and a peaceful man is walking past you because your ass ain't peaceful. So you got to learn your essence of peace. Okay? Okay. All right, with that being said, we're going to wrap up. What time, where are we at?
1:13.
1:13. We're going past an hour. I love this. All right. First and foremost, listen, y'all, I just be wanting to give information. I'm not a person that is like sold on the analytics, like, subscribe. I know those things are important, but I just believe if I just do God's work and share and put good energy in the world, it will all return. So subscribe, share with a friend. Hopefully you learned something in this episode, and hopefully we can change the definition of what a high value man is together. Until next time, holla. So thank you for watching. Please push the like and subscribe button. And there we have it. Peace.